Hey peeps, this is DarwyBfW, and today I'm gonna rank the characters in Wesnoth. I tried to include as many characters as I could, but I simply couldn't include all secondary characters. Who cares for Delin and Tinri anyway? So I couldn't include every regular guy like Oak or Minister Hylas. They were good characters, but there are a lot of them who would just fall in that normal type of guy category. And I don't see a point in trying to rank them all. I'm gonna rank the characters from worst to best. Evil characters first, and then the good guys at the end. This video is sponsored by Safe Scumming. Get the best experience out of Wesnoth by using the lamest tactic in the game. Use my code, go back to turn 27 in order to have your red mage hit all 4 times. Number 1. Ashevire. Why would anyone like her? She kills innocent people, is a selfish tyrant, and doesn't care for her own people. And besides that, she marries her own son or something. What the fuck, dude? Number 2. Javian. Okay, most of you will ask me why I placed him higher than Ashevire, and the reason is because at least it's understandable for him to be so selfish. Yes, he wants to destroy the world and make everyone his undead slave, but he's a corrupted undead, and Ashevire is a human who should have at least some basic understanding of morality. Number 3. Shan Torm. How much I hate him. He killed Capoe's father, betrays good people, and thinks he's the best. Play Son of the Black Eye to understand what I mean. Number 4. Eldred. He's Ashevire's son and killed his own father to become king of Wesnoth. He's spoiled and selfish and betrays his own people just to get what's good for him. Number 5. Landor. He got corrupted because of that Lich Eye flute or whatever that was, but I honestly didn't like him from the start. He has always seemed like a bad guy. He's always so harsh, and in the end he kills baby Saurians, which was at least a bit understandable from the elves' point of view, but still horrific and unmoral, and starts a civil war between the elves. Number 6. Earl and Beck. I would understand that he wants to kill the orcs, but I don't think the orcs from the far north have much to do with what's going on in the human territory, and the campaign where he's in just makes you hate him because you play the orcs who fight against him. Number 7. Darken Volk. He only used Malin in order to get what he wanted, a selfish and cold old man. I'm glad that Malin killed him in the end. He was a good actor all this time. Did he really expect Malin would do nothing about this betrayal? Number 8. Durstorn. A greedy and rough dwarf leader who seems to hate Thorsigan. Why would I like him? Number 9. Sergeant Durstrak. Maybe he just wanted to do what's best for his people by saying that the elves had to lay down their weapons, but I don't know. I just hate his whole language and how he acts. Number 10. Drogon. He probably also only wanted the best for his people. He banned Malin from the village because necromancy is against the law in Wesnoth, but Malin saved the day because of that, and Drogon should have been more grateful for that. I think banning Malin from Parfine was the right punishment for using necromancy, but how badly he talks to Malin and the fact that he would rather have Parfine destroyed by the orcs than defeat them by using black magic makes me dislike him. Number 11. Mal Ravenel. A lich who also wanted to destroy Wesnoth, and he was a pretty mighty one too. He wanted to kill the humans, so it's no surprise that I put him here, right? But I think he might have been just a normal kid, as well as Malin in his story, and then one event led to another and Mal Ravenel got more and more corrupted. Number 12. Della Kesher. Malin's sister. She wanted to kill him because he killed Drogon and used black magic, which is illegal in Wesnoth. I should probably hate her, but I think in the end she's just a regular girl who got influenced by Drogon too much. Number 13. Tanstafal. An elf who turned against Kali because he thought he was better than him. Yechnagov only used him because Kali didn't fall for her tricks. Number 14. Ardonna. She always seemed to be a bit suspect to me. I mean, she wants to raise the dead and use black magic, but aside from that, she probably has her own unique story, so I don't want to judge her too harshly on this. Number 15. Urza Aphelis. He was a brutal outlaw who killed innocent people, so he's a bad guy, but then when Diorin wants to kill him, he says that the humans should unite against the undead. So on one hand, I think it's great that he wants to choose the right path after all this time, but on the other hand, he's the one who is responsible for all the trouble that happens in the forest, and he probably only says that because he doesn't want to get killed. Number 16. Aphiliel. She was actually one of the good characters. In the campaign, you have to make a decision on whether to unite against the undead or to continue fighting the outlaws. When you decide to unite with the outlaws, Aphiliel abandons the group and starts sending her elvish friends against you. I understand that she doesn't want to unite with the outlaws because they kidnapped her teacher or whoever he was, but on the other hand, she could have just stayed with Diorin, killed the undead with the help of the outlaws, and then sent Urza Aphelis to Wesnoth, where he could have gotten his punishment. So all in all, I think she should have continued helping Diorin, even though it's understandable that she hates the outlaws. Number 17. Helicrom. He's some sort of shady guy who can travel through time or communicate with the dead. I don't exactly know anymore, but he was definitely kinda suspicious. But he was pretty helpful in the campaign he was in. Number 18. Garak. There's actually not much wrong about him. He's just slightly too rough maybe, and then there's this scenario where he gets possessed by a ghost and turns crazy or something. Number 19, Kapoor. He's a good guy, and I'm glad that his story exists so we can see the proof that orcs aren't always the bad guys. He only wants orcs to unite against the humans and elves, and he's also a good tactician, but he's often angry and brutal. Mostly justified, but yeah, still. Number 20, Baron. He's definitely a good guy, but in the story of his campaign, it is revealed that he acted like a pussy in one battle. Maybe understandable, but sorry Baron, I can't place you higher for that. Number 21, Lysar. At first I hated her because she wanted to kill Conrad, but then she joins in, and in the end they even marry. It's also stated in the campaign that Lysar is Ashavire's best general. I've always found that cool. At first she was just a brainwashed kid, but then she joins Conrad and kills her own mother, the evil queen. Number 22, Hamel. He's just a good dwarf leader in my opinion. Should probably replay his campaign, but from my memory I don't have anything bad to say against him. Number 23, Thurzigan. He's a somewhat crazy dwarf in my opinion, but he's very good in what he does. He crafts the scepter of fire and is a runesmith. He's only not friendly towards people who are not friendly towards him. Number 24, Arissa. She helped Talon fight the orcs. I don't think she brought too many valuable things to the table, but hey, she helped Talon. Number 25, Lady Gisane. I actually like her a lot. She's a great companion and knows a lot of things about the old continent and the Lich Lords. I like how she helps Prince Heldrick and even becomes his wife. But I don't place her higher because she wanted to kill Heldrick's people twice in the beginning of the campaign. Number 26, Karator. This is the guy who wanted to kill Kale for abandoning his own people or something like that. I should hate him for wanting to kill Kale, but when it's eventually revealed who the person is that wanted to kill Kale, I learned that he's just a traumatized kid who couldn't handle all the bad things that he saw happening around him. I think he was a good soul, but the undead took his sanity. Number 27, Leonel. His story is kinda similar to Karator's. He was one of the best generals in Wesnoth who got chosen to find the Scepter of Fire, but then he got lost in the dark caves and nobody wanted to help him. Then he and his people turned into undead and he wanted to kill everyone, but when Conrad and Delphador eventually kill him, he seems to be happy to finally come to rest. Same thing here again. A person who was once good but then turns into a bad guy because the circumstances around them turned them crazy. Number 28, Burin the Lost. A somewhat unique dwarf who at first wanted to be left alone so he could live in peace without being disturbed by the things happening in the world, but then he joined Prince Heldrick and found joy in killing orcs and undead. A funny addition to the campaign, so what would be bad about him? Number 29, Gru. He's a big troll who would do everything to protect the people who are important to him. Not the smartest guy, but he has a big heart. Number 30, Krog. Another cool supporting character. He seems to be a bit smarter than Gru, and I like that he flies to Weldine, the capital of Wesnoth, to report to the king what happened to the dwarves and the Scepter of Fire. Number 31, Olaf. I respect him for joining the elves, even though he has always been suspicious of them, and he made the right decision to abandon the elves in the end when Landar killed some of the dwarves. Number 32, Sir Garrick. Depending on the decision that you make in the campaign, Sir Garrick gets killed in one of the last scenarios. I salute him for protecting the lives of the others. Number 33, Alyssa. I think of her as the friendly, ambitious and curious girl who just wants to study the topics that interest her and learn something new every day. She just wants to do her studying and she was also really helpful in the campaign. Number 34. Now we've reached a number where it is really hard to decide between multiple characters, and reason for that is that most of these characters are ones that I would call normal characters. They are definitely good guys, but they either are just simple secondary characters or they didn't do anything world-changing. So these characters are Alornis, Aulf, Ragnar, Eglondur, Eldar, Galdred, Harper, Cleodel, and Chantal. Alornis, Aulf, Ragnar, and Eglondur were all main characters, and they did their thing well, but they didn't do anything heroic. Okay, maybe Alornis because he defeated the first wave of orcs, but his campaign doesn't give us too many insights about him to be able to judge him here. Or maybe you would argue Ragnar because of the Scepter of Fire story, but Thurzigan did all the work for it, and Ragnar also had his friends to help him. Then we have Eldar and Galdred from Legend of Wesmere. They both did a great job in defending Taff and Wesmere respectively, but that's just what they had to do. That was their job. And then there are Harper from Liberty, Cleodel from Legend of Wesmere, and Chantal from Delphador's Memoirs and Art of the Throne. Those three were cool additions to their campaigns, but they quote-unquote just helped their respective main characters. All of these characters share the same place in my opinion. I can't figure out who's better than one another. Maybe you can decide that for me. Put your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's continue with number 35. Dioran, the young defender of the southern provinces of Wesnoth. To me he seems a bit unexperienced sometimes, but he does a great job in fighting Wesnoth's enemies. Number 36. Maddock. He left his city just for helping a small band of outlaws. I mean, yeah, they did something that wouldn't happen every day and would be meaningful, but he still left his city just for them. Number 37. Heidel. He was the protector of Orissa and died in battle. He died a hero in my opinion, and it was pretty painful to see another good guy get killed. Number 38. Baldrus. You have to imagine that he's just the leader of a small group of outlaws, but together they cause disorder and chaos in Wesnoth. They hate the evil queen and defend themselves against the people that want to do harm to them. Number 39. Talon. He's a suicidal battle junkie who doesn't seem to fear anything. He led an uprising against the orcs, rescues 2 hot elvish babes, and kills a mighty lich. Sometimes a bit too fearless in my opinion, but hey, he survived the campaign. Number 40. Gwedry. He was sent to the Eastmarks by the king to protect Wesnoth's eastern border. He was basically called a pussy by Mal Ravenel for mostly sending his troops to fight for him, but why would you recklessly send your leader into battle in Wesnoth? But he did many great things. He slayed orcs, killed the, I guess, mightiest lich ever, and traveled across the country. Number 41. Dalfador. Probably the wisest mage ever alive in Wesnoth in my opinion. Throughout his life he experienced so many things, saw so many things happening, and still managed to help a young boy find the scepter of fire and kill the queen of Wesnoth when he was a very old man. Number 42. Kai Krellis. A young merman king who had to gain the respect of his people just to help them fight their enemies. Maybe he was a bit unexperienced, but for being so young and managing to accomplish the things that he did, I respect him a lot. Number 43. Cylena. Okay, he wouldn't have been able to reach his goals without her. She was his intelligent advisor and helped him fight the undead, find a mighty mermaid, who was Kai Krelli's grandmother by the way, and gave him good tips for battle. Number 44. Sir Kalen. A mighty grand knight who hates the evil queen and helps Conrad and Dalfador escape the queen's mercenary forces. I only wanted to list him here because I find it awesome that he stands for his values and doesn't approve of the queen's actions. One of the only few commanders in Wesnoth who are this way. Number 45. Dason. To me, he always seemed like the successor to Dalfador. You know, maybe Dason is even wiser than Dalfador. Dalfador might have killed a bad queen, but Dason helped fight the probably biggest army of undeads that Wesnoth has ever seen. Just like Dalfador, he's also a great advisor to his people. Number 46. Conrad. If I had to describe him in one word, it would be naive. He's a good-hearted boy, but you have to understand that he was raised by Dalfador and was, I don't want to say brainwashed because Dalfador wanted good things, but he at least manipulated or influenced him to reach the things that he wanted. Honestly, I think Conrad would believe anything that Dalfador would tell him. As I said, he's a good-hearted boy, but he relies on Dalfador and Kalen's pretty much all the time, but I like him a lot. Number 47. King Garrod II. I can't say that much about him at all, I just know that he was a just and moral king. Number 48. Kalens. Wherever he goes, he's popular among the good guys. He kills orcs, retrieves the money of the Kalian, slays an elf who went crazy, helps some random kid become the king of Wesnoth, and befriended this guy for whatever reason. Yeah, I think he deserves his popularity. Number 49. Prince Heldrick. Along with Kale, he's my favorite character in Wesnoth. He led his people across the ocean onto a new continent, killed the mightiest lich lord the humans of the Green Isle have ever seen yet, united the Westfolk and his people, killed a dragon, and was, as we can see in the campaign, a great tactician. He became the first king of Wesnoth and in my opinion also the best one. Number 50. Heldrick II. If I say that Heldrick I was the best king that Wesnoth has ever had, then why do I place his son high on this list? Because unlike his father, Heldrick II actually wanted to maintain good relations between his people and the elves. Heldrick I broke the treaty with the elves to help each other when being attacked by an enemy. That's the only thing that's not good about him, even though he had his reasons to do that. Heldrick II maybe didn't have the title of being a Dragonbane, but in my opinion he was more honorable than his father. He re-established the treaty with the elves and even wrote to the dwarves to have them create him a scepter for the Ruby of Fire to control it better, because he saw the effects it had on his father and how bad it could make people. Number 51. Nim. What would Under the Burning Suns have been without her? She's our cute weirdo who is truly a blessing in the dark times she and the other elves face in the campaign. She has a strong will and is not afraid of helping her friends, even if it means to get hurt herself. She fully trusts Kale in what he does and is a good friend. Number 52. King Adoran IX. An older king from the Green Isle who chose to stay on the island to fight the orcs, so that Heldrick and the others could flee from there. An honorable man who sacrificed his life for others. Number 53. King Eldric IV. He's similar to Adoran. He's the father of Prince Heldrick and he also chose to stay behind to fight the orcs, so that Heldrick could flee with the people of Stormvale. I placed him higher than Adoran though, because without him, Heldrick wouldn't have even made it to South Bay. Without Eldric's sacrifice, the rise of Wesnoth wouldn't have existed. Number 54. Malin. Wesnoth veterans love him, and that's good. He only wanted the best for his people, but the people there banned him and treated his help like dirt. He got bullied on Alduin, banned from his own people, and betrayed by the last person he thought liked him. Descent into Darkness shows us how harsh life can be on some people. It doesn't apologize his bad actions, but throughout his campaign we learn why Merlin turned evil. And even when he eventually became a lich, he wasn't that evil, like he was no Javian and no Mal Ravenel. He was just a lich who chilled in a cave and wanted to live in peace. Number 55. Zool. Would you put her on the same level as Delphador or Dason in terms of being wise? I honestly don't know about that, but what I know is that she was a god-fearing, intelligent elf who helped Kale survive the campaign. Just as Delphador, Dason, and Cylena, she was a great advisor, and her knowledge about so many things is impressive. Number 56. Kale. At first I couldn't decide between him and Prince Haldric, and now that I think about it, Haldric's actions were maybe more impressive than Kale's. But in the end, both of them led their people to a new homeland, and both of them did so while facing hard challenges. Haldric killed a dragon, and Kale and his people walked through literal lava. I think I placed Kale higher because he didn't betray anyone. Kale was a good leader, and he stood for his people and his own actions, fought against Yeshnagov, and even wrote a book about his story. Number 57. Aether. The best character on Wesnoth. He chose to die for his friends. And not like Aldric or Edoran. Aldric chose to stay behind because he wanted to fight off the orcs, maybe he even thought that he could have a chance against them. And Edoran chose to stay on the Green Isle because he thought he had a moral obligation to do so. He was probably the last surviving king on the Isle, and said that an old man like him who has lived his life should stay behind to help the younger people. But Aether didn't have to do this. He wasn't a king who should sacrifice himself because it would seem noble. But he sacrificed himself anyway, basically because he wouldn't have anything to lose. His family was dead and his life seemed to be worthless to him. So as a last glorious deed on Earth, he voluntarily got himself killed to help his friends. Without him, Wesnoth would never have existed. Okay guys, and that's it. That was my character ranking. I couldn't include every single secondary character, for example characters like Dommel from Liberty, because if I had included every single one of them, that would have been a bit boring and just too long. So yeah, I'm sorry for that, but if you have any ideas on what Wesnoth videos I should create next, then please let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I hope you guys had fun watching this video. So yeah, bye!